it's becoming more and more obvious that not only was she a honeypot situation with Charlie, she also has a very unique history. She apparently is connected to the Rothstein crime family. Yes, Arnold Rothstein, the guy who rigged the World Series back in 1919. Some old habits die hard. Those fortunes don't just get confiscated by the government, get passed down, gets built up over time. There's a lot of different things that are of considerable skepticism right now. There's the fact that Erika Kirk and remember, she is the head of Turning Point USA right now. And one of the people that she has brought in as one of the top executives, I suppose you would call him, is this guy, Cabot Phillips. Now, why would the story of Cabot Phillips have any real relevance? Because, again, person moves on with their life. They're not just going to sit around. I'm not here to tell anybody how they should live. But I do think that there are reasons to question whether or not somebody in question is doing something that is highly questionable. Do I think it's possible that of all the people that Erika Kirk has in her orbit, it could clearly be somebody that maybe she had some type of a relationship with? Yeah, it's very possible. And as I said, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. What can we prove? Can we prove unequivocally that there is something going on between Erika Kirk and this man, Cabot Phillips, who has been hired by Turning Point USA as one of their top executives? Apparently, because something's not adding up. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what you guys think. What I know is that this doesn't look good at all. So let's start again so you all understand. There's been videos coming out about Erika. Now, of course, was on a dating show back in 2018, I think, or 2019, when she was living in New York. Apparently, this guy, Cabot Phillips, is somebody that she dated prior to Charlie Kirk. Now, you can't see this in the picture, but this is Cabot Phillips, and this certainly is Erika Kirk. Now, you can clearly see that this is identified as her maiden name. And this photograph was taken prior to Charlie's assassination, or excuse me, prior to them even meeting. So if that's true, and again, she's allowed to have a private life. As far as I'm concerned, if she's had 50 boyfriends, 50 lovers, that's her fucking business. It's nobody else's. But in the end, if what we're seeing is true, that she had a relationship with this man and then was basically backed up at Turning Point USA by either suggesting this guy as an employee. Well, guess what? Apparently, as you can see here, he's the senior editor at the Daily Wire. Why don't you go and look at some of the stuff that he puts on social media, especially about Israel-Palestine? When you're the senior editor at the Daily Wire, you're doing every little nook and cranny coverage on behalf of Lil Ben and the rest of the pro-Zionist brigade at the Daily Wire to make sure that everything is as pro-Israel as it can possibly be. And then you bring him in for AmFest over the weekend? That's not enough. It's a little bit more. This is from September of 2017. Yes, I beat Cabot not on one-on-one, not sick of winning. So you're telling me that a person who clearly had something going on with Erika was also chummy with the person that would eventually become Erika's husband? This is way before the two of them met. So something's not adding up here. And that's the beautiful thing about the internet. It's forever. No matter how much you try to scrub it, it can be found. And in this case, it's been found. Just discovered that Obama is one of those dads who brings an iPad on vacation to take pics of the family, and it's the greatest thing ever. Okay, so who cares if he's an operative and he's really a Democrat? That type of stuff doesn't mean jack squat as far as I'm concerned. And then, of course, stop by Jesus' tomb. He is risen, blah, 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 blah. What I see here is yet another example of an organization that is not on the level, and the lady in charge is some type of a honeypot and is clearly connected to very powerful people. Whether it's looking into her background of her family, that's a big one. But I will tell you, the most disturbing piece of evidence, because remember, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. What can we prove? Erika Kirk is banned from Romania. Why is that?
We all have angels in our lives, and these are my little angels from Antonio Placement Center in Constanța, Romania. Our goal with the Romanian angel.
Here we go again. So one more time, guys. Hang tight. Because like I said, production this evening's been a little tricky. But I'm savvy and I can figure these things out.
We all have angels in our lives, and these are my little angels from Antonio Placement Center in Constanța, Romania. Our goal with the Romanian Angels Project was to show these children the true American heart during the holiday season. And what better way to do that than having our United States military personally deliver the gifts?
Yeah, can you tell us? Thank you.
Yes, I can tell you. First of all, I want to say that Erika was also a victim because she was pushed in pageant without very, very young, and she just win right away. And then she worked for Trump, and Trump.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. All the signs are there. Not just that it's a honeypot type situation, but that it was deeply encouraged. And look, she's an attractive woman. And for somebody like Charlie Kirk, it's like hitting the lottery. So it's easy to see why he became enamored with this lady. Is she just a helpless victim? I don't think so. I think she's a willing participant. Now, do I think she's calling the shots? No. But she's definitely along for the ride.
Introduced after the Jerusalem, introduced to Kirk to work for Kirk. She just was a honeypot for Charlie Kirk, and then Trump pushed her to work for Charlie Kirk. In 2012, Erika was 23 years old, and she is already 500 million on her value, and she has several company, not model company, fashion company and other companies. And then she went in Romania with the military. I have the documentation. I'm trying to send it to you. And she works with the government, the military government, to.
And why is she working with the military government? Because clearly the activities of her parents leads one to believe that she was part of the family business. Again, arms dealings with the Zios. Oh yeah, a lot of money there. It's a small club, and you're not invited. The problem is that it is our problem. And these innocent children are being trafficked everywhere, which is why we will address the Epstein story on Monday. We're not going to have a lot to cover in terms of stories because it's solstice, but we are going to have to talk about it. The Trump administration, not a surprise, redacted a significant amount of the information that was being released.
The several very poor city in Romania where they try to adopt and they did kidnap very young children because they are a lot of family, like they have 7, 8, 9 kids. They were not able to feed the kids, so they offer them some money, and the parents think that okay, that kid is going to be adopted in another country and it's going to have a great future. So they just lied to them, and the kids, they were taken away from them without proper documentation, proper paperwork, because they work with different prosecution and child support, whatever agency they have at that time, and they were paid. So they steal like 86,000 kids from Romania, and they send it to UK, Israel, and I don't know if other countries all over the world. They were and nobody knows where those kids, they end up.
No, they don't know where they end up. They don't know what happens to them. And this is, again, the sin of sins. We are supposed to protect children. This is supposed to be more than anything else. And this is one of the reasons why socially I lean conservative on a number of issues. Because I do think that the innocence of children should be protected. We are way too overly exposed today. It's kind of like what it's like for people that grow up in good communities versus not so good communities. It's how women in particular become overly sexualized when they're young in places where they don't have a good family structure or a good community. And today, it doesn't matter what community you're raised in. You have access to the worst of the worst content on the internet. OnlyFans is a prime example of that. Now, one can say that because of the breaking of the economic system and the political system that we're living in today, that it's a tool of last resort. Now, again, I have no problem with people who want to do sex work. But there is something to be said for taking away the innocence of children. And that's just within the confines of what we can control. No child ever asked to be trafficked. These innocent people that are put in these horrific situations. And yes, there are certain instances where the parents create the environment that a child becomes trafficked in. And that doesn't get talked about enough. Certain instances where parents are having 8 children. Are you nuts? I don't know how people have more than 2, but that's my opinion. And I don't have any kids. But in the end, we have an obligation to address this issue that, for whatever reason, it seems to be a third rail for a lot of people. But the fact that Erika Kirk is involved in this in a very profound way and has been, this is just one subsidiary component to the whole Epstein saga. Erika Kirk may not have been working for Jeffrey Epstein, but make no mistake, the networks intercept. In this level, this high up the chain, oh, you better believe they do.
And I guess up in 2018, the government, there was different president, they kind of figured out something was going on and they start investigating. But only few people went to jail, the very low people, the people on the low level, not the high rank things, because they get paid off. So Erika left, but actually the angel that they call angel something, it still continues still today. They still smuggle kids from Romania because unfortunately in a village in our country, people live very, very poor. They have no electricity, no water, no food. They have kids. They interview, did you have a pizza? And she said, I don't know what pizza it is. I only eat potato in the morning and potato at night. So the people are really starving there in my country, in the poor villages. So they take advantage of that and they steal the kids from the parents. And the parents, they think they're going to give her a good future for the kids. And also they did the same thing with orphanage. They work with the government, with the military government, and they make false paperwork and they just took it out of the country illegally. So it was a big scandal in 2018, but actually they cover up somehow. Somebody else come to the power and corruption is everywhere. So money pays everything, and this thing is still continue, unfortunately, till this day. Maybe it's not that high level, but all together in all this year, 86,000 kids that were trafficking out of Romania.
The person speaking is an anonymous woman from Romania who worked with Erika Kirk, talking about exactly what this organization was up to and how she was involved. And all told, over the many years that this was going on, as many as 86,000 children were trafficked. I can't even wrap my head around a number so obscene and so insane. You know, when Taken came out back in 2009, it was a very interesting time because my father was traveling internationally and he actually was at the same hotel that Liam Neeson was staying at. And they ended up having a drink at the bar and a cigar. And he told me it was just a great experience. And this was shortly before he lost his wife, Natasha Richardson. And he remembered distinctly just talking to him about this and just he asked him, like, what are you here in Paris for? And he said, I'm filming this movie about child trafficking. I'm getting paid a decent amount to do it, etc. How the hell would he have known what the hell he was getting himself into in terms of a project? But the movie ended up becoming sort of a watershed moment in many ways. It gave a second life in terms of a career to Liam. He ended up making so many different movies that were very similar to Taken. But that movie struck a chord with a lot of people. Because trafficking is real, not just in the States, but in Europe and a lot of other places in between. And it was as if a face had finally been put on something of this nature, of this magnitude. It was so surreal watching that unfold. And lo and behold, Liam Neeson could never have imagined at the time that he was creating a character that was going to have such a cultural impact for so many people. That's why they came back and made a handful of sequels as a result. But that story and that movie, if you haven't seen it, It's actually pretty hard to take because there's some scenes in the movie when he helps free some of the trafficked women. It's very difficult to watch it. And this is a movie. This isn't even real. So imagine what goes on in the real world. And Erika Kirk was a big part of this. And the depths of what she has been involved in and what she is involved in cannot be denied. Like I said, what can you prove? We can prove that there is something very unholy about Erika Kirk.